credit where credit's due. I'm used to seeing early access gushing when it comes to early access for movies, and it absolutely happened with The Flash, but I've never seen Tom Cruise get in on it. That's next level. It's like they're playing chess over there at Warner Brothers Marketing. So The Flash is one of DC's final stragglers in the old DC universe before it's the new James Gunn verse. We got Aquaman after this, then Blue Beetle.
Wait a minute. Strike that. Reverse it.
I think then it's done. So in The Flash, Barry Allen, once again played by Ezra Miller, he basically comes to the point where he's like, hey, you guys ever read that comic book Flashpoint? Thus, a new timeline is created. So you have the Tale of Two Barrys, Supergirl, and Michael Keaton's Batman. They all team up because they gotta stop General Zod. All right, starting out, Ezra Miller as Barry Allen. Well, actually, there's two Barry Allens in here, but they're just, anyhow. Ezra Miller's vibe never felt like Barry Allen to me. Totally worked in an ensemble capacity. Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's like they knew that, and they were like, great. Let's make this an ensemble film. But I liked Ezra Miller as the Flash in this movie more than I have ever liked Ezra Miller as the Flash. They actually do a very clever thing having Barry Allen and Barry Allen hang out together because one is the older, essentially post-Justice League Flash hanging out with a younger Flash who just got his powers. I gotta say, with younger Barry Allen, I was like, he is obnoxious. But that's kind of the point. There's an arc of growth with him, one we didn't really get with Barry Allen before because they were like, oh, the Flash. Here's Justice League. What about the standalone origin movie? The what? So we never got to see that Barry Allen just got his powers and he's coming into his own kind of arc. We see a bit of it here, a version of it anyway. But they play on Barry Allen being annoyed by a younger version of himself because we all would be. If we are our own worst critics, imagine hanging out with a version of you that's 10 years younger than you are now. A cool concept that's in this movie. I appreciate that. We've seen one actor play two roles in the same scene in a movie before. There's something about this. It seemed to mix so much better. There are scenes where Barry will pick up Barry face through a wall and then put Barry back down. And I'm like, oh, this is the same actor. Great work blending the faces, the bodies. However they did it, it looked phenomenal. Which is ironic, because there's some CGI in this movie. It's iffy as fuck. It's actually one of the main reasons I didn't review this movie immediately after I saw it in CinemaCon, because I was like, some of that CGI was iffy. Maybe it's not polished yet. After watching it now, I'm like, that iffy CGI, well, it's still there. Granted, they're doing some grand scale things with the CGI in here, and it does look cool. But it's when you see CGI faces and CGI people in these scenes, it's Uncanny Valley is a thing. Now, it's not just the Tale of Two Barrys. You also have Supergirl and Michael Keaton Batman. I thought Supergirl worked great. Yes, she does not feel like Kara Zor-El that you might know or be used to, but that's kind of the point here. She's not supposed to. Keep in mind, you are dealing with an alternate timeline, an alternate universe, so, I mean, proceed accordingly and whatever that might mean for you. But if she did feel like, Supergirl, and it wouldn't work for this arc. And the big guns, Michael Keaton's Batman. I say big guns because it is kind of funny that the big guns in the Flash movie feels like Batman, not the Flash. I mean, when I first saw the first trailer, it felt like they were like, let's have Michael Keaton's Batman in here so people go to it. After seeing the movie, it still does feel like that. Like I said, Ezra Miller absolutely surprised me in here, but it still feels like that was the intent. This movie is mixed with moments where it absolutely works and he is a scene stealer. It's also him in tandem with that Danny Elfman score that we know and love. I mean, when Michael Keaton Batman's doing his thing, you got ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. You can't help it. There is a reaction in the brain and the smile starts happening. On the other hand, there were some heavy-handed callbacks where I was like, it feels weird. Like, it's great to hear Michael Keaton Batman be like, I'm Batman. I just wanted the Flash to be like, I know you're Batman. I know you're Batman. That's why we're here. Why else? Who are you talking to right now? Is there a camera we don't see? Oh my gosh, are we in a movie? Is it live? Heavy-handed callbacks and nostalgia bait. You do expect it to a degree. It is a little unfortunate this is coming out so soon after Across the Spider-Verse, and that did it very well. It was a multiverse movie that had Easter eggs and callbacks that were very well integrated and woven into the plot. Felt organic. It's like this movie was like, we don't know how to do that. In fact, we didn't know that movie was gonna fucking know how to do it that well either. I just say, I'm Batman. Say you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. None of it will make any sense, but you said it in the old movie, and by God, you gotta say it here. There were a couple of edits that had me scratching my head too. One in particular, they had to get out of this building. They didn't know how. There were guards, and then they get out somehow. It's like, what are we gonna do? Very next scene, one Barry's holding the other Barry over his shoulder, you know, like the arm over the shoulder, helping him get into the apartment. Like, all right, we're back now. And yes, this movie is around 2 hours, 20 minutes long. And it feels a bit too long. But this is a Flash movie. How is the speed? The speed's absolutely satisfying. It feels fast and it hits hard. There are some effects they do in this movie that enhance the feeling of speed and punch that I didn't see in the Justice League. So I appreciate that. New tactics. The speed has to be felt in a Flash movie, and I felt it. What really landed, what hooked me in this movie, is the emotional scenes between Barry and his mom, or involving Barry and his mom. There's a really heartfelt family dynamic going on in here, and I felt it. It's kind of funny. You think Michael Keaton Batman's gonna be the thing that hooks you, and it's essentially why he was here, to hook you, and really, it's glad he was in it. I don't think the movie needed him to be in it. It's a funny movie. Some jokes really land. There are some reference jokes that I actually loved. Other jokes I was like, that's a bit much. But in the end, the important thing is I enjoyed The Flash. It's a fun comic book film that uses its premise to push the story of Barry Allen forward, while also having a character that's essentially the origin story for this Barry Allen in this universe that we never got. It is yet again another multiverse movie in the comic book movie genre that is chock full of multiverse movies, but it's one that I had fun with, and unlike some other recent DC Universe movies, I wasn't left with that feeling of, well, what does it matter? It's being undone anyway. Maybe it's because it's The Flash and that in and of itself makes it feel like canon. But I think more importantly, it's a movie I had fun with. That's the important thing. If I'm watching a movie in which this universe is going to disappear anyway because someone else has taken over the creative process, at least making a movie where I'm having fun in it. With solid hitting emotional beats, yeah, that helps too. I had myself a fun time. No alcohol required. All right, so The Flash, it's not out quite yet, but for the sake of, if you're watching this video after the movie comes out, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or what's a good Flash comic book? What are some good arcs out there? I'd like some new ones. Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.